This is Tom Tolles, and you're listening to the Tim O and Harley Show. Eat me.
Welcome to the Tim O and Harley Show.
Thank you for listening to the Tim O and Harley Show. I am Tim O. Over there is my partner in mind crime, Mr. Ben Harley. Say hello, Harley.
What is happening, people?
Ben Herman's Hermits Harley.
Yeah, I like Herman's Hermits.
I knew it. I figured you
Peter
did.
Noon.
There you go. So, greetings and salutations to all of our deep thinkers. And Mr. Ben Harley, how's it been? How's that knee?
It's getting better.
Right.
You know, it's not so tricky anymore. My thing is I'm learning to walk again.
Oh, that's good.
I find myself walking like the Patterson Gimlin Bigfoot, or Patty, as they call it.
You're dragging your knuckles too?
Not so much as that. I'm trying to swing my arms a little, and it all kidding aside, it's really I'm really trying to learn to walk again without this weird gimpy limp I had, so yeah, I'm trying to be less like a pirate lately, Tim.
Right.
So yeah, my peg leg ain't what she used to be. So.
In a world full of people aspiring to be
It's
pirates, Harley wants to be less of a pirate.
Yes. So yeah, sorry.
Well, very good.
And I do like the pirate. Well, I like some piracy, I guess, Tim.
Very good, very good. Let's see, Mr. Ben Harley, a couple things real quick. Been watching the XFL, believe it or not.
It's funny. I was actually asking someone about that yesterday. So that is going on.
Yes, yeah, it's not bad. It's a lot better than the first rollout.
I heard it wasn't bad. But now there's how many teams? 6 or 8 teams?
I believe there's 8, I think. St. Louis has a team. We have the Battlehawks. Yeah, we have the Battlehawks. I see people on social media saying, it's on right now. Caw. I swear.
Yeah.
Caws are I'm not going down the caw road at all. So
no.
Won the first game, and then this past weekend St. Louis lost the second game. But the football has been actually pretty good. The rules, of course, are a little different, a little bit of a speedier game. We shall see. I don't know much about the hockey startup leagues or anything like that, but football has not had the greatest history with leagues sprouting up outside the NFL. So
no, NHL's usually there was a few, but then they ended up absorbing them after a couple of years.
Well, and I think that's what they want.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I think that's what these leagues want. I'm not. I think the NFL's like, we've absorbed enough. They got enough. But so far, it's been enjoyable to watch. And they have kept the professional wrestling side out of it. They really tried to make it too much like wrestling the first time around. And now they have actual commentators.
He
hate me. Yeah, they let people put nicknames on their jerseys and stuff. But the thing is now they are having professional announcers, football announcers, people you see during the week on Sundays on the NFL. So it resembles it a little bit more, and you hear those voices that you're familiar with doing the play-by-plays, and it helps. It helps a lot.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's not Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler trying to call a football game this time. So, which it was last time.
Yes, it was. That's right.
God. So, let's see here, Mr. Ben Harley. Got an announcement to make. So we have spoken about Mr. Mark Diamond. Yes, I did an interview with Mark. We're going to have that in a week or two still. I'm holding on to it. I'm teasing the hell out of it. And it's going to be a two-parter. We're going to have a two-parter. This is all leading up to our big 500 show, Mr. Ben Harley.
Yeah.
I believe we are recording 494 right now, I think. And I believe we are right now, yes. And let's see. So also, I have an announcement to make that we are going to have first time on the show, although a friend of the show, very good friend of the show, but inexplicably the first time on this show. I don't know why we haven't had this lady on before, but from the Evil Dead, we are going to have Betsy Baker on the program.
Nice. Yeah. Not sure why we haven't either.
I don't know.
Probably because she hasn't been returning our calls. blocking them, maybe.
Yeah.
No, she's a sweetheart. She would never do that to us.
Right.
No. Yeah, she's a sweet lady.
I was always wondering why her nickname for me was Arm's Length.
Yeah. 911.
Yeah. Right. So that'll be good. So we'll have Betsy on for the first time. And you know me, Mr. Ben Harley, when I do an interview, I like to get into the weeds. I like to really get in there and kind of dig around and probe and stuff. So we should have some fun with that. And we might have another surprise or two leading up to our 500th episode. I'm trying to make it special because we like autopilot, Mr. Ben Harley.
Yes,
we are middle-aged men. We don't like surprises. We don't like things changing up our routines. So.
No, sir.
Let's see. There's some stuff we'll watch. Let's run through this real quick. I didn't write down the year for this one. I believe this was 2018. I think it was 2018. Watched a movie called It Stains the Sand Red. It is
spooky sounding.
It's a zombie movie, but so it starts off with a couple.
You lost me.
Well, it starts off with a couple escaping. I think it's LA, and the zombie apocalypse has already taken root. You don't see it. It ain't nothing like that. You just see a devastated city and a car driving out of the city. Yeah. And so their car breaks down. They get stuck, and they're kind of out. They're out there arguing in the desert outside of LA or wherever they are. Maybe it was Vegas. Who knows? And they're arguing, and all of a sudden down the road comes walking one single solitary zombie. And that little cat and mouse thing goes on for most of the movie. So it's more of a monster movie than an army horde of voracious man-eating zombies running around. It's just one, and it's interesting. It's worth looking at. I don't know if it's something you'd want to watch 100 times in your life. And it kind of like, there's so much potential for something very interesting to kind of root you through the end. And I don't like the turn it takes really, but it's still interesting. And when they say different, this is different just because it's different, not because it's about the people or the zombies and something like that. It's really not about either. It's almost like your desert archetype movie where someone's going through the desert, water, but you have a zombie walking after you, so you can't stop, because the zombies
stop for water.
So there's some interesting little things. It's okay. It's mildly interesting. So let's see here, Mr.
What's that called again, buddy?
It's called It Stains the Sand Red.
Sand Red.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. All right.
Let's see here. Moving on. From 1963. This one's going to come out of nowhere for you. But from 1963, I watched the Jerry Lewis movie, The Nutty Professor.
The movie that we're reviewing was from 63 as well.
Yes, exactly right. Yes. So
The Nutty Professor.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Old Buddy Love himself.
That's a fiddly one.
I kind of mention it because it is a Jekyll and Hyde spoof satire type of movie, of course.
Yeah.
But if you remember, and I kind of forgot about this, but because we probably saw that movie more, I don't know if it played up where you live when you were a kid.
Little bit, yeah.
But I watched a lot when I was a kid because it was on like Saturday afternoons or something. One of those movies on your mom and pop TV stations. And go back in your memory banks a little bit. That is kind of a creepy transformation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He goes kind of gorilla. His hand gets all monster, like Bigfooty. And I don't know how much you remember of that, but
a little bit. It's been a while.
Well, and as soon as I saw it, it all came back to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah. But it just stuck out of my head that's a horror movie part. I mean, it was like the transformation, although it's Jerry Lewis and everything, and it is a comedy. But the effects in this and the camera tricks and this transformation is fairly respectable. I thought it was pretty good. And it's a little dark. And the movie's a little darker than I kind of remembered. It's funny. I was reading up on it, and Jerry Lewis said that he got more love letters and fan mail to Buddy Love after that movie than he did the Professor, and he said that bothered him because he felt like he didn't make Buddy Love more pure evil.
Okay, sure.
Like he didn't make him a scoundrel enough, basically. But yeah. So. Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting. I think it might be streaming on Prime. Actually, the night
okay,
before.
yeah.
I watched it on Blu-ray, but I think
it might be on the. I'm trying to think if it's on that Disney. I have
probably. It probably is.
It might
You're
be.
probably right. Yeah. Let's see here. Moving on, Mr. Ben Harley.
Yeah.
From 1995. This is streaming on Amazon, by the way.
Okay.
1995. Watch the remake of Piranha.
Oh, okay. How was that?
Starring William Catt and
Did it
Alexandra
have,
Paul. Well, I mean, it pretty much follows the story if you consider they lifted all the effects shot from the 1979 version. They just reacted out the drama and then they stuck in all the effect shots from the 79 version.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so you could probably just watch the 79 version and be okay with it.
It'd be okay with it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I that was one I didn't really dabble in. I mean, no, the original, yes, not the remake, but
well, this
wasn't there one with? What was the one guy? Jeez, just where he takes the motorboat off of the thing and like was trying his motorboating him.
No. That was those were like the 2000s or 2010.
Oh, okay. So this is even
no. This was in the mid 90s. So I guess right at 95. Roger Corman produced some remakes of his classic drive-in movies for Showtime.
Yeah.
Like She Creature and stuff like that.
Okay.
And, of course, in Roger Corman style, they went on the cheap with some of this stuff, which is why this movie was basically just a dialogue reshot, and they just stuck in the effects.
Yeah.
It's just a time waster. I just mentioned it because we watched it. It was interesting.
Sure.
I can't even say it was interesting. It was like, okay. So here's a couple interesting things. So from 1990, Mr. Ben Harley, went back and watched. Now, last week we talked about It, right?
Yeah.
So It Chapter 2. So this week we watched the 1990 television movie It. We actually went back and contrasted and compared the versions of It. And yeah, I don't know. Both of them have their pluses and negatives, but I think both of them... I don't know. I think I like the adults and the made-for-TV one better. I can't stand Jonathan Brandis. I can't stand the main kid in the television.
Oh, really?
No, I can't. Huh. I know he's passed away. He committed suicide.
He did? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, quite a while ago. And he was like the...
What else was he as?
Sequest.
Yeah.
With Roy Scheider or whatever.
Yeah.
He's just, the kid is just, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I just can't stand him. He makes the high school bully in me just come out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really bad. It was directed by Tommy Lee Wallace. I forgot that. I always forget that was directed by him. So that's kind of cool, but I don't know. I guess the Pennywise thing is okay. I don't really have much of a different opinion about it, to be honest with you.
Sure.
I was disappointed in It Chapter 2. So that did make this one a little better. But I think I like the kids part of the story in the newer theatrical versions.
Sure.
And I like the adult thing a little bit better in the made for television one. I mean, you got John Boy and Venus Flytrap. Going after Frankfurter, so you can't, it is what it is. So, I don't know. I'm a little, I just don't like the story a whole lot. It just reminds me a lot of other Stephen King stories. And he sets up an interesting dynamic and then it just does something goofy and weird with it. I don't know. I just don't gravitate toward it. So, I'm still not on board. So
yeah, I don't blame you on that. I said I still kind of like it. It's not one that I go back to a whole heck of a lot, but I do enjoy it. I do like some more of the things that Pennywise says in that one. Also, to the I just think it's more eerie at times. I do. I mean, I know it's not as shot as well, or it's not, the sets aren't nearly as well, but to me, there's more eeriness to it, I think, than the new one. The new one just doesn't. Like I said, I'm not afraid of... I guess I would be if I saw a clown in the sewers. I'd be afraid, no matter what he looked like, I guess. But I still like the aspect of the non-threatening looking clown than the threatening clown. I do. I just think it's scarier because it is non-threatening. And then then he does at times, once right before he's about to, But I just think it's... I don't know. I like Tim Curry. I just think I like... I like that version. I do like the part when they're adults too, when they open up the refrigerator and what's name's heads in the refrigerator and stuff. And I just think there's some really good parts in it too.
Well, the one gal,
it just feels real after school-y special at times though too.
The girl in the movie, in the little girl in the original television, she was the sister in Ginger Snaps.
Oh,
that was a little interesting thing. That Jonathan Brandis kid, literally, like it's pretty bad with me. Like I have a reaction to him. I don't
mind that kid too much.
I was making fun of him so
though.
bad when we were watching it. I was just telling Angel's like, "You're not gonna get me to hate him." I'm like, "You're gonna hate him. You're gonna. I'm gonna make fun of him." I just can't. Help me, please help me with this clown I have here. Oh my god, I just want to kick him in the head. You know, I swear to you, I can't stand it. The one thing that I noticed that the real missed opportunity for the newer version of this story, though, is they really key in on that we all float down here, type of thing, and they don't do that really in the newer ones. And I think that's kind of a neat little catch line, you know. Regardless whether or not I like the story, that is a neat little catch line, and they really don't do enough with it. So,
Beep Richie that either. There's a lot of stuff. I just don't. I don't know. I really think they tried to go too much in this new one. And it's funny because I was at the store yesterday and saw the part 2 thing. I'm like, well, there it is. I guess it did pass me by. I'm like, well, it does exist. I know Timo said it did. But and I'll get to it. I'll get to watching it. But I just think that it takes away from me the him being too scary, and so I guess once they're adults and they already know that what he is and what it is, I think that's okay. Then he could look more scary. I don't know. That's just
I don't know. I think for me it's just a sort of I can do without either one of them really. And I've tried. I really do. I mean, I tried, and I'll go back and watch these things again. I saw I don't know. I think maybe for me, it marked the death knell for me having any sort of hope for television, for me enjoying television. I think, so that was 1990. I was about 18 or so, 17. And I was looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably one of the last times I had any kind of, was looking forward to watching anything on television, and it let me down. And I think at that point I realized it's television. It's just me. It's just I don't like this anymore. I don't like the way they do things, and I certainly don't like it now. As much either.
Right.
I still think though, if they would have made the new stuff into a Netflix television or a Netflix series, and they would have made the 1990 into a theatrical, we'd be having a totally different conversation.
Yeah,
totally different conversation.
I think it. Yeah. Now, I think it would have. Lend itself better to
they can get away with more now.
Show.
And they couldn't get away with anything.
Man, that
back
story
then.
is long.
Yes,
long.
Yeah,
it's a long story, So, but I don't know, buddy. I don't know.
Right. Let's see a couple more things real quick, Mr. Ben Harley. From 2015, almost said 2000. From 2015, watch Jaws Fanatics, which we've talked about before. It's a documentary about people that are almost as crazy as Mr. Ben Harley about the movie Jaws.
Yes, actually, there's a gentleman on that Jaws Fanatic that has the largest Jaws collection in the world, supposedly. That Ben Harley has a few items in his collection. But I also noticed the other day, I think he might be cutting loose a lot of his collection, or he has doubles or something, because I actually found a couple of the shirts that I know he had up for sale. Okay. Rare Jaws shirts, and they're actually pricey too. So I'm like, well, so, but yes.
It's not a bad little movie. I think you really do have to really like Jaws to enjoy this documentary, though. I mean, and I do too. It's not my favorite like it is yours, but it's right up there. It's right up there too. And so, but it's enough for me to enjoy it. The young kid though, that Jaws 3 and 4 is favorites. We need to have an intervention with that kid, though.
Yeah, something's wrong with that guy.
I understand it's the first one he saw, but
I don't care.
I don't either. Yeah.
But no, I know what you're saying. I mean, about understand, but still, that just blows my ever-loving mind, because you got to look at those movies. They're not good movies. 3, and I feel bad because I beat up on 3 a lot because that was one of the first movies that I went to when I was younger and was like, you know what I mean? I didn't really know what to think of it. We were laughing at it, taking off our 3D glasses and it's better like this because we weren't even caring. Like, especially once, like, you found out, like, that little shark, the one shark was just a little shark, but there was a bigger one, which was kind of cool, but it really, in that movie, takes away from the scariness of it. It does. There's no more fear or terror in that movie. From that point on, it becomes an action movie. You know what I mean?
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all. No, I don't. I don't think it's a scary movie. I think it's a fun B movie. I mean,
yeah, exactly. And I wasn't looking for that as a
right.
kid. I was like, I wanted to be under my seat, like, and because Jaws 2 still scared the shit out of me as a kid. It's still I think that's a very terrifying movie. Now that also has lot more action in it. You know what I mean? But with the shark, but still. Yeah, what is wrong with that kid? Man, I don't know.
I think my problem with part 2 is it's just missing the the Hooper and the Quint characters. I mean, it's got Brody. He's there as Brody, and I know he didn't want. I know that Roy Scheider didn't want to do it, but he turns in a performance. It's not that. It has nothing to do with that. Yeah. It's not. It's just the fact it needs somebody else. And I'm sorry, but his little deputy guy is not
didn't work out. No, he didn't work out enough.
No, he's not in the movie enough. You don't care enough about him, and stuff. So it's like, no, I don't. I just, but I mean, just I mean, we can agree on part 4. Part 4 was boring.
Oh God,
that's the problem. Remember, what's the cardinal sin of a B movie? Boring. You can't be boring. I mean, you can be bad.
No,
you can be horrible, but not boring. And Jaws 3 is not boring. It can be humorous if you're going in looking for something terrifying. I went in looking for a 3D movie. I mean, 3D was that was when it was kind of hip, and that started the ball rolling a little bit. And it was easy to get into the theater. It was PG, and stuff like that. So I had fun with the 3D. So I think what scared me was not scary, but it was like more of a carnival ride. Or I wasn't scared like a scary movie, but when Jaws would come right at your face. Yeah, it got a little bit like, I mean, and you look at it now, and it's so slow coming towards you. But at that time, and I don't know if you got this, but at that time, that shark went right between your eyes. That was like, all right, that's enough. Get out of here, shark.
Stop.
Yeah, and I did like the 2 shark thing, and I thought that was a little different.
Yeah, I mean, it was, but it just from that point on, it wasn't scary after that. Not that. I mean, a bigger shark's much more terrifying,
right?
But it went from like a scary Jaws and Jaws 2 movie to more of just an action type movie, know, and which is okay as well too. I mean, it didn't have like those scary jump effects or or you're just you're tense like you were in the first quarter of that movie. You're kind of tense because there's things going on. You're like, oh God, and you're just waiting for something to happen. And then after that, you're just like, well, there it is. It's big and moving slow. Well, yeah, and it's weird because Tim, I was an easy kid to please, but that was one of the first movies that I went to as a kid, and I came out like disappointed. Like, oh, what happened?
Well, let me ask you an interesting question.
Yeah, and I think that's why I've never gravitated towards.
Well, especially I was going to ask.
4 was awful.
Would it be the change in scenery of the film? Because the other movies take place in the open water in the ocean.
Yeah,
and this takes place in the SeaWorld. I thought it was
scary when it was in that SeaWorld because like when there's that part when the gate is about to close.
So you like the part? Yeah, see, that's the part I really gravitated toward too. Was the people stuck in the tubes?
Yeah,
and stuff like that. So I did gravitate to the same things. I thought the stuff with the skiers, like the entertainers, the women on the ski, I thought that was kind of silly, stuff like that. But
I kicked myself too because I was actually there and didn't realize until after I left that Jaws was shot there, Jaws 3 at that SeaWorld in Florida when we were there for Ruby's Make-A-Wish.
Oh, okay.
We went there for the day and we wanted to go see Shamu or whatever, and we couldn't, and which I still feel bad because that would have been the last time I ever saw a killer whale. lie, unless I go out on a kayaking trip or something, or whatever. And I don't want to see one that close. I will shit my pants.
Right.
And I don't care how friendly they look, because I know they are, but I don't want to be that close. Anyways, I really kicked myself, because that would have been just awesome for me, and it's funny because after leaving, a lot of it, that part was closed too that day, like where the actually they would do the stunts and all that stuff too. So but it was weird after I went back and we were looking at pictures. I was like, holy crap, yep, that's it, man. And I do remember some stuff from there. So it was kind of neat being there, but I don't know.
Look, at least it's worth debating. At least it's worth debating part 3. Part 4 is like, you're just wrong.
Shove it. Yeah, just
You're just wrong. I mean, if you
it needs to be eaten by a shark.
I couldn't believe that the kid was. I mean, most of the people in the I understand if some people like Jaws 2 more. I think you're wrong too. By the way, I just don't think it's as good. But I understand that was a respectable sequel. It was a direct sequel.
It's more like a slasher film. I think we and I talked about
a little bit.
Too.
And the shark has like a slasher face, like a deformed face. So it's like a feral deformed shark.
Yeah.
So I get all that, and I'm fine with it. Everything about that is okay. I get it. Jaws 3 we can debate, and it's a goofy popcorn movie. It's not. It was made strictly to make money. That's all it was there for. And the 3D was put in there just to give it an extra little bump. But Jaws 4, why on earth was that even made? I mean, I know that had to lose money. Yeah. It had to lose money,
And that one sucked me in too, because I was thinking like, it had to do with Michael Caine. And I've never faulted Michael Caine at all for that film. Never once have said a bad word about him in that film or being in that film. But that really is, I guess that snookered me a little, because I'm like, oh, well, Michael Caine's in it. And I thought maybe you're going to get back to the basics. And actually the first, 10, 15 minutes of that movie's great. I remember it had me sucked in when the youngest Brody gets killed. And then the town's out there practicing like the Christmas thing, and he's out there screaming. And it's I was like, wow, I was like glued to my seat. And then the fucking wheels came off of that, or the wings, just like the plane in that movie, came right off, man. Like it just went like, and for me, who was a shark maniac, shark buff, there's not much more besides like Bigfoot and Evel Knievel and things like that I read about as a kid was sharks. I love great white sharks. I knew so much about them. And then you're going to try to sell me a bill of goods about it following them down to the Caribbean. And that shark looks so fake. Like they look like they were pulling, which I'm sure they were. They were pulling it from a boat. Oh man, I don't know. I could not get into that movie, and never have been able to ever in my life. I've never been able to want to watch that movie. I've never wanted to, I've watched it on television here and there. I've caught it, but I've never grabbed that movie and put it in my life and said, I want to watch Jaws 4, because I hate that film.
I put it in just to remind myself how bad it is.
How bad it is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's
one needs to be riff tracked.
Oh God, yeah, it probably is somewhere, but it was like
with that.
Jaw-droppingly bad. I mean, jaw-droppingly bad, but Jaws fanatics, again, if you are a Jaws fan, it's a cheap little documentary, but it's a lot of heart to it. A lot of people just love Jaws, but it is a cheap little documentary. I enjoy it. I'm sure you enjoy it. I don't know if you went back and watched it. I know we've seen it before. It's been around a couple times. But,
it's Fanatics. F-I-N.
Yes.
Fanatics.
Right. Let's see. Last up here, Mr. Ben Harley. I did find your Ancient Monster Quest on History Channel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what? It was okay. I didn't really see anything very new. I guess there was the one couple who... I know those people were at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference when we used to go. The couple who was going through like all of the evidence that were at like their kitchen table on the show, if you remember that. And it was a good conversation. Two intelligent people, like going through stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm 99.9%. They were very familiar looking to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Very familiar looking to me. So I know that's where it was from. It was okay. I do like the format a lot more. I just didn't find anything much new, I guess.
No, you're not. No. But except what I really gravitated towards too is this a lot of the Native American stuff that they were showing, which I enjoyed a lot. Like a lot of those photos that they were showing too of the mass and things. There's one that is scary. It's like it's a mass, but it's just, I don't know. And it's funny because all of them look like they're whistling too a lot of times. They all have like this
That's
whistle
interesting.
on there.
Yeah, with their mouth and an O.
Yeah.
We call it the O face with Corey.
Yeah.
But like a little O. You like they're whistling or going, ooh, ooh.
Ooh, yeah. You know,
like a Ric Flair, woo.
Yeah,
woo. Yeah.
And it's cool. Like the one mask that was sort of terrifying looking, you know, and but no, I really found that fascinating about how on, you know, the western side of this country, you know, how the Pacific Northwest, how with the migration patterns and things like that, and all the different Native American art and things like that, and the stories and names that went down, you know, like that woman said, how if they've never seen a gorilla before, why would they be representing this stuff? And which is I mean, if you think it's sometimes, Tim, sometimes I think into things too much, but a lot of times the simple answer is the correct answer. It's just, why would, of all the things for them to portray with all the other things around them that you would be portraying in your art and in your daily life or whatever, those things would be represented. Why is there a gorilla represented there when they've never seen a gorilla, unless there is a giant, hairy, bipedal gorilla-like creature that is roaming the wilderness? Then they've seen it and they've interacted with it, or they're scared of it and they're doing these dances and these other things to appease it, or it just doesn't make sense for something like that when they only really drew or did what they represented, what they saw. Right. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense that they would just all of a sudden there's this giant hairy creature that they're representing, and a lot. Like even in that one cave painting, there it is. It's a family of Bigfoot, right? And then you got turtles and birds and all these other things painted right around it. Like it's what they saw. And that one interested me because it was 8 foot tall too, that painting. I didn't know it was that large. I did not know it was that big of a painting. It's awesome. I mean, that was, to me, was pretty cool. But I was very interested in the fact that they also talked about the meat eating aspect. That to me, because we've always gotten that through how many shows that we've watched.
Yeah, they did show like they showed like
not enough
to
sustain an animal of that size around here. No, because it's eating meat or it's deer or something else. It has to be. It can't just be existing on berries and twigs and stuff. And maybe it is eating grubs and other things like that too, but it's not just, it can't.
Well, we eat popcorn, but we don't live on it, you know. So it's like the thing can eat whatever it feels like. Just because a white guy named Preston who lives in a New York suburb says that it's not going to eat berries doesn't mean it's going to listen to him.
Right.
I mean, it's just I think that I agree with you. I liked that it was kind of going back, and look, it's called Ancient Monster Quest, so it's going back in time and giving us it's trying to key in on the fact that this is not a new phenomenon.
No,
that we didn't just make this up in the 1950s. The guy that was hoaxing back in the 1950s with his wooden pallet feet was not the beginning of Bigfoot. That's the beginning of the word Bigfoot. It's not the beginning of Sasquatch. It's not the beginning of the Yaren. It's not the beginning of, whatever. So it's not. It's not. And I do like that. And I do like the Native American stuff and everything, too, that they have in there. And I still say that you're going to have to explain it one way or another. Either society was much more connected a long time ago and we've forgotten that, or it's real. Look, I'm glad that it was what it was. Like, I'm really glad. Like, I do miss.
You would like the format, the way it was. It's not telling. It's telling you the facts. It's not trying to steer you one way or the other, which I like. Just give me the facts. That's what I need, and let me make my decision on whether, and I'm tired of being told.
Right. They're not beating you over that head. They're saying, look, this is kind of what we believe, and here's some evidence that we found from the past why we believe this. I think that's what I miss about the shows, though. I mean, it's not hard to defend something like that. All you got to do is say, well, just watch it and just understand that some of these stuff is real. It's facts. So you can completely understand. Like, I think we're missing that today in society. It's like some sort of like, oh, okay, I see where you're coming from. I don't agree with you.
Yeah.
But if you can at least identify where someone's coming from and understand their argument, maybe you can come to a compromise that you can both agree on, or maybe you can figure things out. And I think that's what this is. This is not, you can't defend people going out in the woods with cameras at night, beating on trees and hearing trains in the distance thinking it's roars. You know what I mean? So it's just a little, it's just different, So I like that. I think what I'm missing, I think the reason I'm kind of like, I think it's because, and we talked about this, you're not going to get a witness on camera from the 1800s.
No.
That's just not going to happen.
You can't, it's just too hard.
It's not going to happen. So it's hard
for
me.
You want to. But
I know. But it's hard for me I do like reading the newspaper accounts and stuff, but there's also a piece of me that reminds myself that, newspapers back then were all tabloids.
Yes,
all
and they were and they were trying to start, and a lot of them did start these rumors or fantasy stories or legends.
They made stuff up. They did. Yeah. And so we are left with that unfortunate fact.
Yes.
I think that, like I said, I do like the format better. It was a little nice to see something that wasn't people making up their own characters for television going on and trying to look at me. Because I feel like a lot of that's what this is. It's a look at me kind of thing. And I think there's become too much of a celebrity-based culture in the Bigfoot community.
Yeah.
And I'm not there to get an autograph. I mean, stop and think about it. It's like and Harley, please go to bat for me on this. When I go to a horror show, am I there for an autograph or am I there to find that movie I can't find?
You're there to find that movie.
Yeah, I'll get an autograph. I mean, I will get something. I'm not saying I'm immune and I'm above all you people. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that for me, I'm explaining why I do or don't like it. And so the same thing in the Bigfoot world. I'm going to talk to people about stuff. I was only excited about meeting Jeff Meldrum because he was a smart guy that would listen to you about this stuff.
Yes.
That was a big deal. When we met Bobo and that was funny because we kind of make fun of him. But we don't hate him. We just made fun of them because what they were doing was a silly TV show. So it was fun and a little cathartic for us to get pictures with them and stuff. But but that was different. It was different, wasn't it? I mean, it was just a little different at the time.
And well, most of it, and it was fun because in meeting like Meldrum, we laughed with him. We said, how we always kid on the show, or you and I kid with each other, like, well, if Meldrum said it, it's gotta be true, right? And he laughed. He thought that was funny, and he took it as we would. Like, it's just funny. He's like, oh, well, of course. Or like, he had fun with it. It wasn't like, well, yeah, you're right, youngsters. He just, he was having fun with it. He was a pleasure to meet, and I think he's having fun with it too. I don't think, and he came off to me as a pretty decent guy that just is enjoying what he's doing and likes to talk about the subject. But and I liked that. I mean, I enjoyed meeting him. He's one of the few people, not the few people, but one of the people that we've met through that community that I really enjoyed meeting. He was just nice and he took his time with us and stuff. But
I think that's what people don't
he's trying to push anything either.
No, and they're not. They're not. And I think that's what people don't understand that look at us weird.
Yeah.
Is what they don't understand is that most of these people are having fun with this. And most of these people, they're having fun almost in a car, almost in a Six Flags ride kind of way. Like, almost like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, that's sort of the attitude of these people. You got to be kidding me. I think this thing's out there.
Yeah.
You're like, I really think this thing's, I mean, and they have these experiences and stuff, but they are having, they're not taking it so seriously that they're willing to punch you in the face over it.
Right.
I think where people like us get irritated is that you come at us like we're willing to fight over this.
Yeah.
So you try to pick a fight with us, basically.
Yeah.
And we're not picking a fight with you. We're saying nobody in the Bigfoot community is saying people are fucking insane for not believing in it.
Sure.
Right? Nobody.
Right.
You go into politics or anything else, and every side calls each other insane and crazy. I mean, they're not saying that. What they're saying is that they had an experience that shed a light on something that most of us never experienced. That like, oh, wow, that's out there. You know, not a lot of people got hit by lightning in their lives, but I have.
Yeah,
and it kind of opens your eyes to things. You know what it's like to get hit by lightning. You're like, well, I don't go out in the storms as much as I used to. My wife, Angio, will walk out and look at lightning spider web across the sky. I tend to be a little bit more sheepish about it because I know
scares me.
Right. Why is that, Mr. Ben Harley? Because I know I can get hit by it.
Yes.
I know I can. And that's the thing with people with the Bigfoot. They know it's there because they've seen it in their minds.
Yes.
They know it's there because they've seen it. Now, whether or not that's happened or not, I'm not the judge of that.
Right.
It either happened or it didn't happen. And who's to say what reality is on some level, too? Mm-hmm. We don't know. We don't know anything.
No, we don't,
let me put it this way. We go to horror movie conventions and stuff, and we have people dressing up like Jason and let's say let's say Dracula. Okay, I don't think the person who dressed up like Dracula believes in vampires.
Right.
And I don't think the person who dressed up like Jason Voorhees really wants to kill a half dozen people in a camp somewhere, right?
No.
But you find it very interesting, and it's just kind of fun to fantasize about and stuff. Well, there's your Bigfoot thing.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, killers do exist. That's fine. And did vampires exist? No. Sorry, no, they didn't. Werewolves and vampires did not exist. I'm telling you right now, no, they didn't exist. You know. But on the other hand, I think that legends of rabid wolves, possibly a Bigfoot type thing, or a bear attacking people and stuff. You know, legends start somewhere. Okay.
Yes.
And that's fine. So it's kind of the same thing. I'm not saying that we're running around telling people that Bigfoot exists. We know it does because we have a sample. No, it's just very interesting when you keep having people tell you they saw something and the stories. And when you hear them, I always say this: you go up to one of these shows and you get some of the good people, the people that are just there because something happened to them. Yeah, and you hear a story, and I dare you to laugh in their face. Like you do ours. Yeah. I dare you. I dare you to go listen. I double dog dare you.
Double dog dare.
Yeah. If you're going to make fun of people with your insecurities, then you go and see what you think. You know, and I do think that. Otherwise, don't make fun of people for this.
No.
It's not worth it. It's really not worth it. And the people who believe in it, they don't think it's worth it either.
No.
They're not, like I said, they're not going to fight you for it. No. They're like, okay, fine.
Let you know.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, but let's get to our official film here, Mr. Ben Harley.
Do we have to?
From 1963, we have the film The Slime People.
Yeah. Right. Now, it's funny, Tim. I look at 63, like, and watching this movie, and my brother was born in 64. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, man, my brother's old watching this. I was like, God, this looks ancient, you know? And I'm like, my brother was only born probably not even a year after this was made, you know?
Right.
But, that's funny.
All right. Let me get you a movie guy here and give you a short storyline synopsis here for The Slime People. Right, here we go. Yeah. After Los Angeles is invaded by an army of subterranean monsters, a small group of people must fight for survival in the deserted metropolis. So this is a Robert Hutton starring and directing in this, actually. Robert Hutton from Invisible Invaders, The Vulture, Colossus of New York, and our favorite Trog. As helming the directing here, and is also the star of the film. This is basically like an episode of The Walking Dead with slime people instead of, and the slime people
look
and
fog,
more
fog.
Lots of fog,
cheesecloth,
right? So it's basically starts off with Robert Hutton. He's flying a ailing airplane.
Yeah, little Cessna.
So he has to make the world's most gentle emergency landing I think I've ever seen into what is basically an empty airfield.
Yeah.
So he lands and there's nobody around. Except for a random car full of people that pull up. It just happened to be in the same spot that he's at, so.
Yeah.
And then you are introduced to your characters, some of your characters, and for the film. So you have a scientist or a doctor guy and his 2 daughters, of course. So we can propagate the species if need be more. So,
if need be.
And I guess what had happened is the slime people, they came up to take over.
Yeah.
And what they did is they created like a dome around LA and started filling it up with the fog to drop the temperature.
Yes.
And in order for them to take over LA. They were tired of the Sunset Strip or something. I don't know. I did kind of find it interesting that it was a lot like a zombie apocalypse kind of story in a way. It was troublesome for me, though, to see the beginning where the slime people, the first slime person you see is not like clawing his way out of the earth and soil or anything. He comes up from one of those elevators under the street. He's holding a spear. He's got a weapon. He's holding his spear. It's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? I mean, that thing didn't look like something that had the intelligence to fashion a spear or to be like a blacksmith of rare metals or anything like that. It was a little odd. So we have. So then you have the characters kind of going around trying to figure out what's going on and trying to save the world of the slime people, basically. And you have the typical infighting and the people romancing each other and stuff. One of the daughters, the older daughter, the brunette daughter, was played by one Susan Hart, who I just mentioned last week on the show, because Susan Hart owns the rights to I Was a Teenage Werewolf and I Was a Teenage Frankenstein, and she was married to James H. Nicholson. But in fairness, though, I'm not happy with her business practices. But from 1963, I was happy with her looks.
Yeah.
She was pretty. She was awful pretty.
Yes, she was. Yes, she was.
So,
and shapely.
What's interesting? So what's interesting is we have. It's almost like, okay, so the slime people have taken over L.A., but they seem to have taken over most of wherever they were shooting. And then there was the fog. And the fog seemed to be conveniently placed in every shot where they wanted to hide the budget constraints.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
The fog wasn't everywhere.
No, it wasn't. No.
But here's a couple of interesting things. So this is totally, like I said, like a seminal zombie apocalypse kind of story. It is, however, before Night of the Living Dead.
Yes.
It's even before Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price.
Really?
So this is a very early apocalyptic monster film.
Okay,
And as with movies from this era, even though the entire countryside or the entire LA or whatever's been taken over by slime people, you never see more than 3 at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there was supposed to be so many costumes, I think, for this. I read something like I think the costumes cost half of the budget of this film to make, and then they ran out of money or something after so many days of shooting.
Right.
And I don't even think the actors got paid for doing this.
No, I don't think so. I don't think Robert Hutton got paid either. And he directed it. So,
and he directed,
Right. So, again, we have the convenient fog plot device to obscure the budget. Yeah.
And there is a lot of fog, my friend.
Yes.
There is a ton of fog in this. I mean, it's like watching something through cheesecloth. Almost the entire film, like it got really bad for me for a while. I was like, oh my God, I wanted to punch fog. You know what I mean?
It's a little hard to see.
Oh God, it made Legend of Boggy Creek look brilliant, like the original. You know what I mean? And now how dark that is at times. Like this is bad. Like it's almost like, movie, where'd you go? You know, it's bad.
Well, I think something that bothers me.
The costumes weren't really that bad.
No,
the
monsters were okay. They looked a little fishy, for me.
Yeah.
But I think the problem it's a good idea. It's a good setup. And the apocalyptic thing with monsters taking over aliens or whatever it is, it's good. I like it. It's scary. You can identify with people, almost anybody when that happens. So it's like, all right, cool, I got that. But the slime people just they weren't the most threatening.
No.
Or tough.
No, and they fell victim to the old spear, or tackle, football tackle. Yeah. I don't know how many times those guys just went right for the belly and tackled them. Yeah. They were
the people weren't afraid to punch the things in the face. If I saw one of those things coming at me, even if it was on set, I would run away because it's not going to happen. But no, they just went after him. They tackled. They punched him in the face. They got into hand battles and everything with him. So
a lot of noodly hand battles.
Oh yeah, especially the final battle royal. I mean, it was just, and then they made this weird bubbly, gurgly.
Well, and Timo, my stomach sounded like that yesterday, and I kept thinking, is that me or is that my stomach? Or, I mean, is that my stomach or is this a movie?
That's the slime people coming after you. Yeah. Not sure what under earth is a gurgly, bubbly sound. I think, and it kind of looked like, okay, if you're slime people, you look more like fish people, and you sound more like fish people, and you're gurgling as if you had gills and stuff, but I'm almost wondering if this was created to be like monsters coming out of the ocean. And then they just decided, well, that might be kind of hard because the soups won't hold up underwater. So let's just have them coming up from an elevator under the city. How about that?
With a spear.
Right. Again, it really is like an episode of The Walking Dead, though. So probably a little bit better, actually, than that. And then the one thing, too, that kind of sticks out is that out of nowhere, we get Les Tremaine as Norman Tolliver that comes out, and he appears to be carrying a goat. So we get the resident wild man, the insane person. And I'm sorry, but Les Tremaine is horribly miscast as the Mad Hatter character.
Yeah,
he is about as grounded as you can get. Les Tremaine is like, I'm not buying him as the kooky, goofy guy at all. At all. Anybody else they could have got. They could have, I don't know. Keenan Wynn, where was he at? Didn't they have him around? So, I don't know. Just anybody else besides him. So it's clumsy, but here's the thing. It's short, not a real long movie. The fog actually does the job. It does obscure the budget constraints.
The movie should have been called The Fog.
No, don't mess with my fog movie.
Yeah, I know.
Don't do that.
Please don't do that.
Right, but I think this movie though it's a little bit better than its reputation though. I mean, I've seen a lot worse, and I think the problem is if the slime people were just a little more threatening, and if you couldn't knock them over with a like a discus punch.
Yeah, there was some serious weird moves. They were. Yeah. One guy did like this pole vault with the spear. He like pole vaulted and did like a flying drop kick on one of them at one point too. It was kind of silly. Yeah. But there was some noodly stuff there. And then there's like the battle royal. There's this one hill, but they got their use out of this hill. They kept showing them running up and down this hill. Like, oh my god! I'm like, seriously, man. Like, But man, this there's some clumsy stuff in it, but there really is. I don't know, but it is what it is.
Well, the one thing I'd like though that a movie that gets under my skin that I want to like so bad I don't is the mole people. I don't like the mole people because the mole people are not the bad guys. Right. And the mole people. And actually, to be honest with you, the mole people are not the monsters. The mole people are the people who live and are running the society.
They're being used. Yes,
exactly.
That's right.
And so, what I like about this is that it's sort of like, to me, what the mole people could have been. And had you had because the mole people costumes and things were great. I love those. They were great. Had you have had those mole people instead of slime people, and switch those around. Yeah. Because I think the slime people looked a little more sympathetic than the mole people. Yeah. So once again, I'm telling Hollywood, you guys got this shit all backwards.
You got it wrong.
You need to do the old switcheroo here because, yeah, I mean, it's like you have to. I don't know. I just think that the mole people look more frightening. I think it would have worked a lot better. Not only that, but you could have made the mole people would have been a little bit more of a physical threat. They would have had some sort of dexterity. They wouldn't have been like waddling around these clunky things. The slime people moved about as good as like the rock monsters did in Cat People from the Moon.
Oh yeah,
I mean they were not moving well. Or what was a tree monster from It Came from Hell or whatever? From Hell It Came, the goofy tree monster. So it wasn't. Yeah, they just weren't that threatening.
No, and the fact that the people kept fighting them and stuff was like it made them even less threatening. Like they were taking them out by the dozens, and then like
they were getting close to people bullying them.
Yeah, what was funny? Yeah, what was funny too is like they the fog, like they had a machine that they found, and it was like it looked like a trash bag painted different colors, and it was pumping out the fog. And once they knocked that out or whatever, they knocked that out. Then all the slime people like started suffocating and dying off. And then all of a sudden, here comes the military. I'm thinking, why do we? Man, like the military couldn't have taken care of this like hours ago because you had like 3 or 4 of the noodliest people out there taking care of these things all by themselves. And and then they're showing like tanks and like fighter jets and legions of Marines and stuff, and I'm like, where the hell they couldn't have broke through that fog? Oh man, that took it away from me too. I'm like, this slime people they're not ready, Tim. They're not ready to contend yet.
No, not at all. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hate the movie though. I mean, I kind of actually liked the fact it didn't really cheat. I did like. I thought it was kind of neat how they when they went and they found the old news footage to find out what was happening. First of all, that's another great budget saver. Just to have a news guy explain all the destruction and carnage that happened without having to film a single lick of it. But it works. I think that works because then you get clued in along with the characters. So it does help you go with the characters. And I do like that device. I do like that plot device. I thought it worked great in the original Night of the Living Dead. I thought that was part of the spookiest part of that movie was the news reports coming in on that TV, and they were trying to get the TV down the basement, but they can't get reception down there. So I thought that was kind of neat. But it could have been a lot better. And I really think when you think about when I'm talking about the mole people, if they would have had those movable guys, first of all, you could have had more than 3. Which would have been great.
What was it? Humanoids from the Deep.
Yes, this was kind of a Humanoids of a Deep-esque kind of produced and realized movie in a way. But and there's not a whole lot more to say about it. I mean, the drama between the people is like, it's okay. Les Tremaine actually is a welcomed idiot because you're taken back by it's like. And if you know who he is, you're kind of like, what? You're what now? And he's carrying a goat, and there's nothing. When you are in a population devoid of all women, and you're carrying a goat around, there's just nothing good that can come of that. There's nothing good that can come of that.
No, sir.
Yeah, no, so. But it does spark your interest, if nothing else, what was going on there. So. But anyway, I'm gonna give this like a really, really mild grade pape up. Mostly because I have fun with these movies from this era, which is no secret. I mean, we've been reviewing these things forever, and it almost was welcome. But here's the thing. Well, first of all, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna just give it a very lukewarm. Great baby. I can't poop on it because I had fun with it. It's just, it is what it is. A silly black and white monster film. It's not trying to be too much.
It's not terribly boring.
I'm going to poop on the fog, though. I'm pooping on the fog.
You're tired of the fog.
No, I got tired of it after a while. Oh, my God.
You couldn't see Susan Hart's anymore, right?
Shapely figure, hourglass shape. Right.
So I get that. Well, here's an issue, though, and this I want to put everybody on notice, basically. VCI has released this in a double feature with The Crawling Hand. From what I've read, I suggest to get that because what we watched was a Rhino video release, and the audio is all messed up on it. And I don't know if you realize that when you were watching, or if it was as noticeable on your TV. But there's a lot of like white noise and pink noise and stuff. It's something wrong with the audio. Very distorted sounds that come in and out. And I believe they even had one run of those discs where the audio or the vocal audio was missing, or some of the audio was missing out of it. Yeah, so not a great release by Rhino, which is we have the old. That's what we watched. I presently do have loaded up in my Amazon wish list the VCI DVD double feature because I do believe it's actually a superior print of the film. So anybody interested, if you see it, you'll probably find the Rhino one used, maybe even cheaper. Do not buy it. Don't buy it. Buy the VCI one unless you want bad audio. In that case, by all means, buy the Rhino.
Go for it. Yeah.
All right, well, let's get the hell out of here, Mr. Ben Harley. Two mild grape apes up for the slime people. And let's see. I don't know what we're doing next week. I don't know if it'll be slimy or not, but we are knocking our way toward episode number 500, and we are going to have. I don't know if it's next week or the week after. One of the two. We are certainly going to start our interview. Freak out that we're going to have. We're going to start with Mark Diamond from the Dwarves. Fresh Prince of Darkness himself. And then our good pal Betsy Baker from Evil Dead will be coming up after that. And I'm going to ask her, Mr. Ben Harley, of course, about Evil Dead. That goes without saying. Yeah. But we're going to have a conversation about I think it was a Geico commercial with Robin or Peter Pan. Okay. Because if you remember the high school reunion Geico commercial where Peter Pan was there still as a kid, Betsy Baker was the lady giving him a dirty look when he said, you don't look a year over 90 or something like that. You know?
That's awesome.
I'm gonna have to check. I'm gonna check on that look. I'm pretty sure Betsy had to really hate that kid for real.
Girl, son of a
otherwise, she is now my favorite actor of all time because that look she gave, I thought she hated me. You know, so I was like, oh my god. So, but we will definitely be asking her about that, which is gonna be fun too. Yeah. So. Until next week, all you deep thinkers out there, when we get back to all this nonsense, stay spooky, and we'll talk to you then.
Keep it creepy, people.
You've been listening to the Timo and Harley Show, brought to you by ScreenPrintingFactory.com, your affordable one-stop solution to all your screen printing needs.